Hello everybody, Water83 here of the 133rd Squadron RAF Eagles in Aces High 2. Today's tutorial is aimed at giving you an overview of the clipboard map and the menus on the clipboard. So let's get started. If we press the escape key, you will bring up the clipboard map, and here it is. If you want to zoom in, this is fully zoomed out at the moment. If you want to zoom in, you can either use the insert and delete keys on your keyboard. Insert zooming it in, delete zooms it out, or you can right click on either of these icons, this one to zoom in, this one to zoom out. If you left click these, it will zoom in the entire clipboard or zoom it out. It's not very useful, but you can shrink it a little bit if it's in the way. You can grab the clipboard by left clicking and holding and dragging it. If you grab at the top here where this bulldog clip is, you can put it out of the way down here if you want. I normally just try and put it somewhere where it's not going to be too inconvenient, because you can always press escape to hide it again. This will work in your aircraft as well as in the menu. I just thought I'd stay in the tower while I go through this with you. So if we zoom in the map, we can see that it'll zoom in on your aircraft's location, and then while it is zoomed in, you can click and drag, left click and drag, and you can move the map around. I find it useful to have a couple of sectors either side of my aircraft, just so I can see what's happening in the immediate area. So I normally fly with it somewhere like that sort of zoom level. You'll notice a lot of icons on the map. These are with A and a little picture of an airfield are obviously airfields. They're all scattered around, each one's got its own number. There are several icons. This is the HQ, the star, that's your country's headquarters. I won't go into detail about what all these things are, I'll go through those individually in separate videos, but this is your headquarters. These are your strats, strategic targets. We have airfields, we have, let me just find one, vehicle bases are with the V, so these are where your tanks are spawned. You can jump into a GV, and there are also ports. Let's see if there's any. I don't think there's any on this map. No, this is a landlocked map, but there are ports as well. They start with a P, and obviously that's where your ships, your CV carrier groups, etc. Rely on the ports. You'll also notice that these fields are a different colour. These are bishop fields. The green ones, because I'm a knight, knights show up as green on my map. If you're a bishop, I think the bishop fields show up as green. So basically whichever side you're on will be green, and the other two sides, we've got rooks over here, bishops here, knights here. So the colours may vary, but basically these guys are the opposition teams and this is our team. Over here you can see these little green dots here are friendly aircraft. It shows their location on the map. These little counters up here are DAR bars. The green one shows how many friendly aircraft are in this sector, so it's on the top left of the sector. The red one shows enemy aircraft numbers in this sector. So in this sector there's less enemy than there is friendly. This sector we're about even, and this sector also. You'll notice that you can't see any enemy dots. That's because either the radars are down or they're outside the radar ring. It's always useful to have the radar ring on. I turned it off to start this video, but if you right click on the map you will bring up a little menu, and this basically you can add icons to the map. So radar I would recommend you always have on, but you can see if you zoom out it starts getting more cluttered. So if we zoom back in, These rings around all the fields are the field's actual radar, so if the radar's up and running it will be a white ring like this, and basically any enemy aircraft that comes into the radar zone, as long as they're above 50 feet I think it is, will show up on the radar. So just be aware if they're really low, nap of the earth, they might not show up, but this counter always shows up. This red, oh, it's gone now. These red counters will always show up unless your HQ has been bombed. These will always be on, so it can give you a rough idea of where the enemy are. They'll be in this sector. The reason why we can't see any enemy in here is because this radar ring is red, so they've taken out the radar here, so we don't actually get any information on exactly where the enemy are. Obviously if you've got a red dot on the map, I'll just try and find one. Here we go, down here, so we can see somebody's attacking A46 here. It's 4 enemy aircraft, and we can see exactly where they are, so we could take off and intercept them. Got a friendly one here as well. If you hold your mouse over the friendly icons it'll tell you who they are. So there's Bulldog, looking a bit outnumbered there, Bulldog, but there we go. And so yeah, that's the radar. You'll notice these fields that are flashing. The fields flash, it basically means there's somebody attacking within this ring. So as soon as an enemy penetrates this radar ring, the field will start flashing, and you'll also get an audio warning saying airbase under attack or something like that. So that just highlights at a glance which fields are currently under attack by enemy aircraft. Airfields have towns attached to them, and that little yellow dot there that's flashing is the town for that airfield. That can flash if, I believe it's if there is something just on the edge of the ring, just the town will flash but not the field, so you can tell that somebody's on their way. V-bases and ports don't have towns attached, so there's no yellow dot to them. The towns are important when you're trying to capture an airfield, so if an airfield is under attack, you need to not only protect the hangars and things on the field so you can keep flying, but you need to protect your town, because that's where, if the town is lost, the airfield is lost with it. So we've got more options on the map. You can put field altitudes on, and that shows you how high the airfield is. So this one is at 500 feet. This one's at 600, this one's at 1,000 feet, and so on. Pretty useful for if you're dive bombing an airfield and you want to know how high you need to be. Like if it's at 1,000 feet, you might want to start 10,000 feet above it, so you want to be at 11k. You can also see if there's high terrain you need to get over if you're in a bomber. It gives you a good idea of how high you need to climb. Wind brings up the windrows in the top right hand corner. This again is useful if you're in a bomber, especially. You're going to go up quite high, and this shows you at various altitudes what the wind speed is and the direction. So at 14,000 feet the wind is from the south, it's in the northerly direction at 20 knots. At 20,000 feet it's easterly and 20 knots, and so on. So the wind speed is the second number, the altitude is the first number, and the direction is indicated by the arrow. Again, that's useful for if you're in a bomber, because it is going to push you off target and you need to calibrate your sight every time you turn, because the wind will be different. You've got a legend, so I was saying to you earlier, there's lots of different symbols on the map. If you get stuck on what's what, click legend and it will show you each symbol and what they are. So a little tank is a V-base, an anchor is a port, a carrier is an aircraft carrier, and so on and so on. So next one, not too sure about zones, not entirely sure what that is, to be honest. Vehicle spawns. This is useful if you're in a ground vehicle, and also if you're hunting ground vehicles, because when I've clicked, I'll just get rid of the legend because it's getting a bit cluttered, and the wind for now. The vehicle spawns are indicated by these arrows here. So basically, if we were to get in a ground vehicle in V34, I'll just go over there actually. If I was to choose a ground vehicle, you'll notice this little box here. If it says start flight, obviously it won't be flying, but if I click here, I'll start in the hangar. If I click here, I will launch from the spawn point. Now this has only got the one, so it's the southwest spawn, so you can see that's southwest, so my vehicle will be placed here. So it's always useful to check, especially if the enemy's trying to take a town, where their spawn is. So for instance, A77, the Bish may try to obviously up some fighters, come over, beat the town up, but at the same time there may be some ground vehicles around here headed towards the town, so you're going to be wanting to look for ground vehicles between these 2 points. And then field order again, not really too sure what that does. I presume it's the priority of your main fields. I'm not 100% on that, but I don't ever find any need to use it. The other options on this menu are country status, which if you click that, it will show you basically the status of all the countries in the game. So shows you how many players are on each side at the moment, how many are flying, how many are waiting, etc, etc. And it shows you the overall situation. So this shows you the fields that the bishops are owning, knights and rooks. So knights, at the moment we own all of our airfields, and we own 7.7% of both the rook and bishop fields. And it gives you the victory conditions and how long the arena map has been, how long this battle's been going for, basically. And it's always useful to have a look at that before you start, so you can see the overall situation, whether you're winning, losing, or whether it's just begun, things like that. Next one, war status. This shows you, at a glance, you can look at the status of your fields, so you can see what it is, how high it is, how much fuel there is there, and all of the systems on the field that can be destroyed. It tells you if they're enabled or disabled. So A1 is perfect at the moment. Maybe we could have a look at A51 or 46. Yeah, so A46, we can see they've taken out the radar. It highlights it white as well while you've got it selected. So you can see they've disabled the radar there, but everything else is okay, so we can still put bombs on our aircraft. We can still fly fighters and bombers, or drive vehicles. We can still put troops on troop carriers. Underneath it also shows the status of your strats. So these here are your strats. So you've got a city, a refinery, ammo factory, radar factory, troop training, and anti-aircraft factory. At the moment our strats are all at 100%, but if the rook were to come down here and bomb these, this would go down. I'll go into that in more detail in a later video, but basically the nearer to 100%, these are the better. And your headquarters again, enemy counters, enemy radar, friendly counters, friendly radar, everything's enabled. If our HQ was to get taken out, enemy counters would basically be disabled, so we wouldn't have a clue where anyone was. We would fly blind. So it's always worth protecting this if it's under attack. You can close anything by clicking close, obviously. You can also bring up a field's info by right clicking on the field itself. You'll get a separate thing. Instead of war status, it'll say A51 status. Click that and it brings up that same screen that I've just shown you, but it actually selects a field for you, so it's a quicker way. If you wanted to see, right, how's A6 doing? A6 status, there you go, field A6, all your info's there. So you can see the Rooks strats have been hit as well, so the city and the refinery and the anti-aircraft factory have been damaged slightly. Okay. Net status shows you your connection info, and clipboard maps, these are useful when you're bombing. I'll do a bombing tutorial where I'll go through these, but your clipboard maps are basically showing you where targets are, and you use this drop down menu to select them. And if you wanted to, say you're going to go bomb a port and you want to keep that one up, just click apply. You can put it away, and then next time when you're getting near your target, clipboard maps, port comes up for you so you can see where all your important targets are. So that's that little menu. This menu down here on the actual clipboard, you've got all your everything, basically your interface for the game. So your hangar, again, if you hold the mouse over it, it'll tell you what it is. So the hangar is where you can select aircraft and vehicles along with ordnance and fuel loads. The O Club or Officers Club is where you can attend to squadron business or switch countries. So I'll just click on them and show you. This is the hangar. So obviously I'll just go back to an airfield. I'm at the V base still. So in the hangar you can choose to fly whatever aircraft you want to, or vehicle. Can't choose a boat, but yeah. If you click tower, it will take you back to the tower, which is just basically, it gives you a brief rundown of fighters, bombers, vehicles, ords, radar, fuel and troop supply. So there's a quick overview of the airfield status. Also shows you the game time. The O Club, then the Officers Club, you'll have a few extra options in the menu. In the O Club you've got squads, where you can manage a squad or start one. If you're a squad leader, obviously you can manage it. If not, you can't. You can change your country, so I'm a knight, but I could switch to rooks or bishops, but I don't want to do that. But if you do, you can only switch a limited number of times in a certain time frame. I'm not sure exactly how long it is, but you can't like switch to rooks and then switch straight back to knights. You can change your game ID as well, so you just enter a new ID there, but like it says here, your perks will be lost, squad affiliation will be lost, scores and rankings will be lost. So we don't want to do that. They're the two differences in the O Club menu. So if I go back to tower, if you watch these here, they've changed now. They've gone. So if you ever want to change your country or your name, that's where you need to go. Options, pretty self-explanatory really. Graphic detail, got a load of different options in here. Again, you know, just hover your mouse over them, it'll tell you what they do. If you're having performance issues, you might want to turn things down or off. You've got advanced graphics settings. Got controls. Just cancel that. We've got controls, so we can calibrate our joystick. Always good to do before a flight. So you just click on calibrate joystick, move your throttle rudders and joystick through their full range of motion. So move everything. Center your joystick and click OK. Your joystick's being calibrated. You can map keys, so if you don't like the mapping, you can customize it. Same for your controllers, so you can map your joysticks buttons to certain things. Force feedback, I don't have a force feedback joystick, but I presume that's if you've got one, you know all about that. Your preferences, again, self-explanatory really. Flight preferences are you've got all these different options. So auto takeoff, you can turn it on or off there. You can also turn it on or off with Alt and X. No tracers. This doesn't show tracers when you fire your guns, so when you're behind someone, the first thing they'll know about you shooting them is hearing your bullets hit them. It makes it a lot harder, but because you don't see where your bullets are going, but it also gives you a bit of an advantage. I'm still flying with tracers at the moment. I've tried it without. It is a lot more difficult. Auto combat trim. This is good while you're new, but it does slow your aircraft down. It basically does your trim for you, but there are ways to trim your aircraft which I'll go through in another video. I do recommend leaving that on while you're starting. Your stall limiter, again, good while you're new. It helps you out with stalls, so if you use excessive elevator that would lead to a stall, this option would control that input so that it makes it easier for you to control the aircraft and turn, but at the same time it reduces your turning and aircraft performance. So best to try and learn how to control a stall and not use that. This will automatically film your sorties when you start, and this is for the World War I aircraft. I've not flown them yet, so flight voice preferences then. So this is all about your microphone. If you're having issues with your mic, you can try and alter these settings. View options, again, loads of different options for your preferences on your views in the game. Game sounds, so you can adjust volume levels here. I put a sound pack on not so long ago and I've had to turn the effects right down because otherwise I can't hear anyone. Gun sights, you can select each aircraft, you can select its gun sight. So if you wanted the Typhoon instead of a default one, you could have the British gun sight. You can also alter the colour. Maybe you want a Japanese type gun sight in your Typhoon. Yeah, we'll go with that. And GUI again. These are you can alter the colours here for your map. So all your options here, your enemies, you can change their colours if you wanted to. Don't really see any need to do that myself, but there we go. So that's your preferences menu. Arena setup is like it says, configure your arena for offline play or when hosting 8-player games. I've never done that, but if you want to have a play around with that. Web page help minimises Aces High and launches the help page on Aces High's website, High Tech Creations. Radio, if you click that, it'll basically bring up the radio, which you can also press /4, so / and you press enter. If you haven't typed anything, it'll just close it. The radio I'll go into in another video. I don't want to make these too long. Roster shows you everyone who's in the arena at the moment, and it shows you the squad, the country, their ranking, and who they are. So you'll be on here as well. So here I am, pretty low down at the moment, but the only way is up. So it shows squadron here, and you can obviously search for people. You can right click on people as well. You can ask to join them in their plane. You can jump to the field where they are, so if we wanted to go, if they're on your team, you can anyway. So Bulldog, let's go to, there we go, we've been moved over to A46, which is where Bulldog is. I'll just click roster again. You can tune your text radio to them if you want to send them a message. You can show their score page, so you can see all the stats. You can basically spy on people on this. You can squelch them if they're typing in too much on the radio. You can squelch it so you don't see their texts. You can also squelch their voice off the comms, so you won't hear voice comms from them. And you can report abuse or anything like that down here. So if they're effing and jeffing at you or saying something you don't like, you can report them. Thankfully, with such a good community, that is very, very rare. Done it once, but yeah, everyone's great on here. Arena message, every now and then there may be a message to display here, so if you click that, something comes up. It's just a basic message. The training arena has one, tells you a few rules of the training arena. Task groups, when you get a little more advanced, you may want to start controlling carrier groups. This is a bad map to show you it on, there are no carriers, but I'll go through that in another video. Pick up missions, you can create a mission, so you can select the time. There may already be a mission in here. If somebody's done a mission, you can join it. Missions are like organised raids, so I don't know, maybe if I wanted to create a mission, I go to new mission here. We can call it whatever we want, so A21 raid. Take off time you can change, make that 11, give people time to get in. It tells you what the current time is, who's planned it, which field it's starting from. So if we wanted it to start from A46, what planes we're all flying, so let's go in ponies, and then you load out your fuel, 50%, pylons, 500-pound bombs. Your armament is your guns and your rocket rails, rockets. You can say how many slots are available, so we maybe have 6 aircraft, and we could say we want them to spawn on the northeast runway. Now you literally submit, or you can add waypoints, and that'll generate a mission that people can join and organise one where you all take off and attack your target. You can load a mission if you've previously saved one, or if there is one in progress, you just click on it here and then click join. At any time you can click back to go back a stage in the menus like that. Stage missions, you can practice downloaded missions with AI there, so in the offline maps and things you can download missions off the internet and practice with that. And then achievements shows you any achievements, so you've got earned ones, unearned ones. Didn't sound good. So you can see there's quite a lot of achievements in the game, and it's quite fun to try and get some. As you gain achievements, you will gain a star next to your name. So there are levels for reputation. You can see here total reputation. Each one of these is where you earn another star. So the guys that have got 4 stars to their names have done loads of stuff, really high reputation, really accomplished players. 1 star with not too bad, not too good. Yeah, no stars, probably new. But it's a good way of getting a few points, and it keeps it exciting as well if you want to try and aim for some stars. It's always good. You can notice that they've bombed the hangars here, and now fighters are disabled at this airfield, so if I wanted to take off I couldn't, because these are red now in the hangar. I can't fly a fighter from this field. If I try and up the spit, you're unable to fly your plane because fighter hangars are down. But I could take off in a B-17 if I wanted to. It would let me. So that's pretty much the clipboard map and the menus, guys. One final thing that I forgot to mention, these are your sectors, sector numbers. So this is sector 55, and basically you may see down here in the map someone may say enemy CV sector 552. So it's sector 55, and then the final number, think of a numeric keypad in this square. So 552 is this bit here, 553 is this bit here, 551 this bit here, and so on. Something I could never grasp when I first started. I wanted to know what that last number was, so maybe that's helpful. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 559, they're here somewhere. Always helpful. And if you see a CV or you see something and you want to alert people, rather than just saying they're inbound on A26 or whatever, gives as much info as you can. So inbound northeast or inbound from 656 and so on. So there we go, guys. That's an overview of the clipboard map. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall be making some more. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.